Hello again. Welcome to Super Coaching by Textbook IAS. This is Venkatesh, your faculty for geography. And today we'll be starting with a very interesting topic by the name the Straits of the World. Do you remember the story of 2021, a ship which got stranded in the Red Sea because of for around 6 days, because of which the trade was disrupted between Europe and especially Asia for around a few days? Do you remember that? That is what the significance of straits are, right? Keeping that into consideration, let us now start with the understanding about the straits, how questions are asked with respect to the topic in UPSC, what questions can be framed, what are the importance of the straits, how the straits are different from say another body called as isthmus. Have you heard about the word isthmus? Panama Isthmus. How straits are different from that? Let us discuss about all these things in this video. Now if you see strait, you can see here strait. This is a picture of a strait. Then what do you mean by a strait? What do you call them as a strait? It is nothing but, what are they? As you can see, what are they? It is a, I would say, it is a narrow body of water. What are they? It is a narrow body of water. What do they do? Connecting, narrow body of water connecting two major land masses or water bodies. It's a narrow body of water connecting two major land masses or water bodies. Connecting two major water bodies. That is a narrow strip of water body connecting two major water bodies is what you call it as strait, isn't it? Right? Say example, if you see that, let me show you a picture. You can see this, or you can say, yeah, you can say this. You can say here Gulf of Aden or else the Arabian Sea, whatever, especially the Gulf of Aden in particular, is connected with the Red Sea. So Red Sea and the Arabian Sea are connected by a narrow strip of water body which is called it as Bab el-Mandab Strait. Bab el-Mandab Strait. So this is the strait, Bab el-Mandab Strait, connecting Red Sea with the Arabian Sea. That is what you need to remember. This will be the Gulf of Aden. So this is the strait. You see a narrow strip of water body connecting two big water bodies. That is what you call it as a strait. For example, in India, do you remember Park Strait? That is also a strait. Now, what are their importance? So as you can see in my first picture, straits, you can see a narrow strip of water body connecting two major water bodies. Look at the picture, very clearly beautiful. This is a major water body, this is one major water body and narrow passage of land. This is where you will find the ships traveling. Then what is their importance? How would they be useful to us? What is their importance? Anyone, can you give me in the comment section what is their importance? Importance? Anyone? Can you give it in the comment section, the importance? Let me check the comments. Okay. Now if you see the straits, now while you talk about the importance, I would ask you to identify certain points. What is the importance? One of the major importance about these kind of things are, they are having geopolitical significance. Geopolitical significance. They are having economic significance. They are having, say, strategic significance, defense, strategic significance. For example, they are geopolitically important. Why? Because they will be having the control of how, okay, they will be having what? Control of access points. This is the key thing. What do? They control the access points. So, entry, exit are controlled by the straits. So, that is where they are geopolitically very, very important. They will be acting as, say, choke points. Choke points. Because they are choking the trade, they are choking the area. The trade by happening via this strait will be having a significant impact. That is the key thing. So, control of access points, choke points. Say, one important thing I will be discussing about, there is a strait called as Malacca Strait. It is a choke point because for all the ships has to travel through it. Have to travel through it, say for example, connecting the Indian Ocean with respect to the Pacific Ocean across the Indonesian island. So, or in other words, a smaller island, Arabians, you can see the Bay of Bengal, a smaller inlet, the Andaman Sea connecting with the South China Sea via this choke point. So, all the ships has to enter through it. So, that is why they are what? They are geopolitically very, very important. And economic. Now, when you have that so many ships are traveling with these kind of things, what can you do? You can develop so many beautiful, good ports and harbors around the strategic, around the straits for importance of trade. So that because of this development of ports of trade, you will see that so much international trade will happen. See, all the ships need to travel via the strait. As they need to travel via the strait, imagine if you are part of that area and you have developed a beautiful port, you have developed the infrastructure, there will be so many trade which can happen. Also, these ports can act as what? Transshipment ports. Transshipment ports. What do you mean by transshipment ports? For example, sometimes the ships also need halt. Sometimes the ships, there is a big ship and there were some small ships. So, you need to offload certain load and put it into small ships to distribute. All such things can happen with when you have the transshipment modes, because these will be the centers of economic activity. Because of these will be the centers of economic activity, whatever the region is able to produce, there is an immediate international market access point which increases the economic activity of a region. For example, imagine I have a land across the, I have a beautiful agriculture land, I produce around so many varieties of mangoes, and my region is very near to an important international trade route. Automatically what happens? That trade route provides me the accessibility towards the international trade. So, automatically my economic activity, instead of selling in the domestic market, I will try to sell in the international market. That will give me more advantage. Am I right? Will you agree with this? That is the transshipment, that is the importance of ports with international trade. And through that economic activities, for example, these areas, because they are part of the environment of the oceans, you will find that a good amount of economic activities like shipping can be developed. Shipping and fisheries. For example, imagine because this is part of the ocean environment, you have decent varieties of fishes. Fishing industry can be developed here, and this fishing industry can be access to multiple areas. Because this area happens to be an ocean, near to an ocean, you can develop a shipping industry. That shipping industry will now have a beautiful international connections. So, you can develop new economic activities as well. It's a particular economic activities which can be exclusively developed for the oceans can be developed. The exclusivity clause of economic thing, you know, economics is all about demand and supply. When there is supply, decent supply, exactly at the right place of the demand, Do you find increases? Now, which is determining this demand and supply? It is a location. The geographical location of the strait which is doing, that is the significance of economic activity. I hope you all are following this, isn't it? Are you getting this? Right? Then the strategic significance. What is the strategic significance? If so much amount of trade happens here, control of trade, control of navigation, you will have so much amount of impact. That is the key thing, control of navigation, the strategic significance. For example, you can develop so many naval bases. You can develop the military bases here, naval or military bases. For example, along the Bab el Mandab Strait, the picture I have shown you, there is a country by name Djibouti. Djibouti has around at least around 4 or 5 foreign military centers, foreign military bases. China has its base in the African country of Djibouti. USA has a base in the African country of Djibouti. So, Djibouti is having military bases of foreign countries like USA, like China, like Japan, like Italy. So, you look at the impact here. So, all these countries have a base. Because of this base, they will be also earning so much amount of revenue, because the country of Djibouti gives this land as a lease to these particular countries, and they give rent to these countries. So, it is almost like they are getting a new source of revenue. So, that is the strategic significance of these areas, naval bases, military bases. These are the key things. These are all the main things. There are also supplements. What are the supplements? For example, what more importance, other important points you can discuss? The other important things I can discuss is, for example, because this happens to be, tourism can develop. Will you agree with that? Straits will help in tourism, right? They will be helping in the tourism, recreational activity. This is also another economic activity. This might not be the major one, but because of these things, this will develop. That is what you can say, right? So, especially more than the what do you say, importance of strait, when you talk about isthmus, they also help in the environmental protection, that is there. And even straits also, because of the navigation, they have some kind of environmental benefits, because the amount of fuel which we consume, that will become lesser, isn't it? That can be there. So, keeping this into consideration, the importance and all, you will find that the straits are having a huge importance. Okay. You should remember about all these points. You should keep these points into consideration, and then you have to talk about that. These are very, very key. So, what are the key important things? Geopolitical importance, economic importance, strategic importance. Apart from that, tourism, environmental benefits, all these things are there. Now, let us discuss about examples of these things across the world. Let us discuss some examples. For example, Strait of Hormuz. You can see here, which part of the world is Strait of Hormuz? Strait of Hormuz. Which part? Connecting Persian Gulf with Gulf of Oman. Persian Gulf with Gulf of Oman. Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman. So, the Strait of Hormuz connects Persian Gulf with Gulf of Oman. When you talk about this Persian Gulf and Gulf of Oman, the Hormuz Strait, you can see here, look at the areas which it is part of. This is the Persian region, this is the country of Iran, you have the UAE, you have the Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, you have the Middle East countries, Middle East is known for oil. Yesterday we have discussed a beautiful video about where, how, why there is more oil in the Middle East. You have discussed about that. You can see that these are the centers of oil. When these are the centers of, say, let me change the color. Okay. So, centers of oil, is it visible? No. Which color? Maybe a darker color, right. So, when you have so much amount of oil, because as the ships travel via this, controlling of Strait of Hormuz, you will become important for oil trade. Imagine tomorrow there is a war happens in Iran. There is a, what you say, there is a talk about Iran is having about issues with respect to America. Then the oil trade will be having a major impact. The Strait of Hormuz controlling point is very, very important. Then the next one, Bab el Mandab Strait. You can see the Bab el Mandab Strait. It connects Red Sea with the Gulf of Aden. And when you talk about this, that's what I told you, Djibouti, this is the country which is having so many countries military bases. America has a military base here, China has a military base here, and they also give good amount of revenue to Djibouti. So the strait is controlling the, what you say, and the significance of strategic significance. I will say this as a strategic significance. And this is the only place through which all the ships traveling from Asia travel to the Europe, and because of this, controlling this is very important. Remaining, I think if you remember a few years ago, Somalia is known for pirates, Of late, though in the recent era as well, you find some kind of things, but generally the amount of pirates and all this impact has reduced. But still, even now, some antisocial elements, they try to control some kind of ships and all in this part. Even in the month of November this year, you have seen some incidents happening, right. So this is about the Strait of Red Sea. Yes, somebody has joined. Yes, good morning. Good morning, Palak. How are you doing? Good morning. Right. So this is the base of the Gulf of Aden. I hope you understood about Djibouti. I hope you have understood it. Right. So this is the thing. What is the thing? See, look at the importance. Now apply the things which I told you. Geopolitical importance. Because it is an important point of trade, international trade, connecting Asia with Europe, this becomes very important. Then navigation. Look at the navigation. That is why do you think that China, America is paying so much amount of money to Djibouti for having their base, especially here? This is the region of what you call it as Horn of Africa. What is this? Horn of Africa. This is the horn. You can see that horn, right? With this Horn of Africa, Djibouti is one such place where you have so many kind of naval bases, military bases of foreign countries, and that is the source of revenue. And that is why it is happened, because it happens to be a strait. If not, why would they control that? Why would they wanted to have access there? That is the key thing. And the ship which got stranded happens to be stranded here in the Red Sea, to a much more northern, say somewhere in the Suez Canal. We'll discuss about that. Right. This is about a strait. Now you remember, they'll ask you, Bab el Mandab Strait connects which part? Red Sea with Gulf of Aden. You can say Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, or connecting Yemen and Djibouti land-wise. That is how questions can be framed. This is a map pointing question. Are you able to follow? Are you able to follow? Yes, good. Right. Let's go to the next one. Now you see, Gibraltar Strait. This is the Gibraltar Strait. Gibraltar Strait. This Gibraltar Strait happens to be here connecting Mediterranean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean. That is very important. Now you see the next important straits you see here, which is this ocean, Black Sea. You can see the Black Sea. What is this area? Anyone? What is this area here which I am identifying? Can you identify? Yes, students, my dear aspirants. Yeah, what is the thing which you can identify here? It is nothing but the Black Sea, isn't it? It is the Black Sea, and this region is what? It is the Crimea, the Ukraine, part of Ukraine now. Now, you see, in the last few years, Ukraine is under having so much amount of issues with respect to war and all things. Whatever the trade happens, this trade happens to be via this strait called Bosphorus Strait, Dardanelles Strait, and then into the Mediterranean Sea. So what happens? These straits becomes very, very important, right? Let us discuss about that. Let me show you that, then we'll come back here. Yes, this is the thing. You can see here. This is where you will find Crimea, and that is connecting with the Black Sea, and this is the Sea of Marmara, or you can say as the Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea. You can see this is the Bosphorus Strait. You can see here Sea of Marmara. Okay, sorry, this is not the Mediterranean. This is the Mediterranean or the Aegean Sea. You can see Bosphorus, Sea of Marmara, Bosphorus Strait, and then Dardanelles Strait connecting Sea of Marmara with the Mediterranean Sea. This is the key thing, and you can see that questions can be asked out of that, right? So they asked, Turkey is located between which oceans? Between the Mediterranean Ocean and the Black Sea. Okay, this is the minor Sea of Marmara. So next time they will ask you, arrange the following 4 points in chronological order: Bosphorus, Sea of Marmara, Dardanelles, Aegean Sea. You have to know the order. Why? Because there is so much amount of trade, or there is so much amount of strategic importance with respect to the war, you will be seeing that. Right? I hope you are able to understand. Right. I hope you are able to follow, no? That is the key thing. You are learning something new every day. That is the thing about this Bosphorus Strait. Then, when you talk about the other things, you can see here, this yellow color, this white color line, which I will be drawing with red. You can see this. This is the international date line, okay? International date line through which the date changes. Because of that, the area, this area, what is the strait, which we call it as a Bering Strait. It is a Bering Strait. We can call it as a Bering Strait connecting with the Bering Sea with respect to the Chukchi Sea. Okay, Bering Strait. This becomes important because it is part of the international date line connecting Russia with USA. All these things becomes very, very important. Then moving forward, other things. India, you can see this is the Pak Strait 1 connecting its narrow bars of landmass. Okay, it's a narrow body of landmass connecting the Bay of Bengal with the Indian Ocean, you can say that. So Pak Strait, India and Sri Lanka. Right. Then you can talk about, okay, I have told you about Bosphorus Strait and this. Then England and UK and France. You can see that UK and France, Strait of Dover, the Dover Strait, UK and France. By the way, you should know there is a railway line connecting from the France with the Europe. It goes across this around for around 20 kilometers, isn't it? That is the thing, Strait of Dover. So Dover Strait, a very important sea, and you can say that it connects with the North Sea with the English Channel. So these are the important mapping points which you need to remember. Okay, these are about the straits. Then the next thing which I will be discussing now, I think you all might heard about Panama Canal, Panama Isthmus, isn't it? How it is different from strait. What is the difference? What is a Panama Canal, Panama Isthmus? What is isthmus? Isthmus, what is that? I would say that isthmus is a narrow strip of land. Narrow strip of land. Isthmus is a narrow strip of land connecting, I would say, two major land masses. Two major land masses. And it provides the opportunity for canals. It provides the opportunity for the canals so that it connects the big ocean. So that's what. What is an isthmus? I would say it is a narrow strip of land connecting two major land masses surrounded by ocean. That is what the thing, surrounded by oceans. Because of that, it's a narrow strip of land, and through which only you will have the Panama Canal. You can develop canals. For example, the Suez Canal, which you all know the popularity of Suez Canal. Suez Canal, it is nothing but it is a Suez Isthmus. There is a land, and across this land you have developed canals. You have developed canals. You can see that this is a canal which is developed. The canals are developed by man-made, and these will be acting for centers. For example, before India and Europe were trading, before the advent of the Suez Canal, you see that ships used to travel all across from Mumbai, all across the African continent to London. Whereas with the advent of the Suez Canal, you can see they are traveling. You see the distance is now 11,600 kilometers, because before it is used to be around almost around 20,000 kilometers. You have almost reduced by half, almost you have reduced by half. That is the importance of these kind of canals, isthmus. So this is about the isthmus. So isthmus is an opportunity where canals can be developed. That is the key thing. Okay. So Suez Canal happens to be an isthmus, and you can see this is a port said, and this is around port said, and this is the Suez. You can see the Suez Canal extends from the northern terminus of the port said to the southern terminus of Port Tevfik at the city of Suez. So Suez Canal connects which places? Suez or Tevfik with the Port Said. That is the thing. Where is Port Said? It is part of the Mediterranean Ocean. That's what you can remember. This is the thing. Port Said here and Suez here, and this is the canal which is developed. I hope you are able to follow it now. This is about the difference between isthmus as well as something like a canal, isthmus as well as a strait. So in this video, we have seen similarly another important strait you all have. This is what I am trying to tell you. Malacca Strait, I forgot to mention this. Malacca Strait, you see here, this is a choke point. Choke point. For example, you can see the trade, all the trade happens from, see all these are, you talk about the Asian economies, the big giants of Asia, China, Japan, China, Japan, South Korea, all these are known for trade. And if they wanted to trade with India with respect to the countries of Middle East, Africa and Europe, this is the route they have to travel. And all the ships enter into the Malacca Strait, which connects Andaman Sea with respect to the South China Sea. This is the Malacca Strait. You can see this is the Strait of Malacca connecting this with this. Now all the ships has to travel this. That's why it is strategically very important. That is why even India has some naval bases in the Nicobar Islands, in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, so that very nearer to the Malacca Strait we have our access, we have our presence. That is the significance of geography. Now you see, it is geography which is determining its kind of things, right? I hope you are able to follow. So with this, I would like to end it today. You all have learnt about so much things about straits, about things like isthmus and all. Hope you have liked this video. Please share it to your friends. Like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you will be frequently notified about whatever the sessions we are taking. And also there would be a Telegram channel which I will be giving the link in my description. Please do join so that you will be giving will be engaging about certain topics. Hope you have understood this. This is about this. Thank you for watching. Thank you.